Hey, so today it's chapter 9 of Phoenix Incandescent, The Girl Who Burned and the Boy Who Sang to Her. Bo had never been so frightened in his entire life. Not when he had flown for the first time. Not when he had left his parents for a few years for his apprenticeship. Not when he had gone on his first dangerous scouting job. He held steady to Charlotte's gaze as she stared him down. He felt that the very fibers of his body were going to disintegrate under her scrutiny. Not that he blamed her one bit. He could only imagine what she was going through right now. But the right thing to do was tell her. Of course, the right thing would have been to tell her a year ago, but he hadn't. How he wished he could go back to last summer when she was home for a couple of weeks right before her last year of college. He had always assumed that their friendship would stay a friendship in a growing up together brother and sister sort of way. But that day, as both of their families relaxed in and around the pool, his vision for that friendship had changed. "Do you know the first moment that I knew I loved you?" he asked in a whisper as he took her hands and cradled them in his own. "It was last summer. It was the day you spent taking care of the mer baby in the pool. We all had fun with him, but it was you who made him feel right at home." Bo blushed at the memory of her in a swimsuit. He had seen her in one for years growing up, but it was different that day in an uncomfortable yet exciting way. Charlotte looked up at him with tears in her eyes, but she remained silent. "Lottie, I had to tell you. I didn't before, and I was wrong to not say anything. I thought, and I still do, that you merely thought of me as an annoying brother." Charlotte laughed then, and she wiped her tears away. "Give me a minute, Bo. People are throwing a lot at me today. I feel a bit weak from it all." He watched her as she rummaged through the box she had been given by Layla. She set aside a couple of outfits. His heart beat wildly, hopeful that she loved him back, concerned that he was merely giving her something to tease him about. He watched as she opened her father's bag and rummaged through it. "Do you have anything to unpack, Bo? Do you need anything?" He sighed, irritated at the change of subject. "Our home was destroyed, remember? There's really nothing to unpack." Charlotte fumbled with the bag again. Bo stood up. "You're avoiding the issue." "Stay here, please," she whispered. "I'll be right back, and I'll promise we'll talk. You should probably change." Bo sat at the end of the bed with his head in his hands. The weight of the secret he had been carrying for a year was gone, but now he felt hollow inside. What in the world was going through her head? Maybe he had been overconfident, thinking she would immediately tell him that she loved him too. He had expected that, or possibly anger because he had avoided telling her and spent the whole last year dating girls off and on in order to stay distracted. What he had not expected was what was happening right now. The agonizing minutes ticked by, though it couldn't have been more than 5 minutes before she returned. She stood by him, fidgeted with the seam of her new outfit. "Why don't you change? We may not have much time left." She sat down next to him on the bed. He grumbled and headed over to her closet to change. She was driving him crazy. "How do you feel about me?" he asked, trying to keep his voice even while he wrestled with his shirt, which had buttons down the back, above and below an opening in the middle for his wings. "Let me help you," Charlotte offered. She took over buttoning his shirt around his wings. Her hands shook as she worked. "There, finished." She circled around him and brushed some imaginary dust off his shirt. "It looks good on you." She patted his chest but didn't pull her hand back. "It's going to be okay." Bo put his hand over hers. "I'm scared," she admitted. "I am too," he confessed. He pulled her hand up to his lips and left a slow, gentle kiss on her palm. She giggled. "Are you intent on bruising my ego tonight?" She wrapped her arms around his neck and kissed him. Bo pulled her closer and held tight. She pulled away too soon for his liking. "I love you, Bo," she said with a smile before she collapsed in his arms as a wave of energy surged out of her and through the room like an ocean wave. Bo carried Charlotte's limp body toward her bed. Her skin was glowing and white. Burning pain seared up his arms. He diverted his path to the bathtub and laid her inside carefully. He stumbled back and looked down at his arms, which were bright red and covered with blisters. He stumbled out of the bathroom and ran across the room to the doorway. "Father," he yelled down the stairs, "I need you and Sebastian immediately." He walked back to the bed and sat down. Heat radiated out into the room from the direction of the bathroom. Bo closed his eyes and breathed slowly through the pain. Focus. Push the fear down. Take it breath by breath. His training carried him through while he waited for his father to arrive. "Bo, come out of the room," Wilder called from the staircase. "Neither Sebastian nor I can get any closer than this." Bo obeyed and sat down on the top stair. Sebastian began to cover his arms with an ointment. He hadn't even realized how much pain he had been until he was no longer hurting. Wilder laid his hand on his shoulder. "Son, these look bad. Is Charlotte okay?" "I'm not sure," Bo replied. "She's burning, but I don't think it affects her in the same way." He tried to think of how she looked when he last saw her. "I don't remember redness or blisters on her skin." He tried to stand up, but Wilder pushed him back down. It's a transformation, Wilder said. It's a form of magical light and heat. If it is causing her to change, then hopefully it's not hurting her like it hurt you. Sebastian put the container of ointment in Beau's hands. In case you need more of it, he gave Beau a second bag. It's a duplicate bag of what I carry around just in case. Keep it in case you need for anything for yourself or Charlotte. I have instructions in it. I will update the Hobbs on her condition, and I'll check back in with you again. Thanks. Wilder helped him up. Be careful, son. Call if you need me. Beau nodded and gripped his father's shoulder briefly before he stepped back into the hot room. Charlotte was curled up in fetal position in the tub. You shouldn't have to go through this, he whispered as he knelt by the tub, careful not to touch it. Charlotte looked more like light in a human form than a person who was overheated. She was incandescent. Beau had to back up. The heat was so overwhelming, and the light she was emitting was killing his eyes. Suddenly there was an explosion of light and energy, and he was knocked down to the floor. Beau sat back up and looked in the tub. Most of the heat in the room was gone now, but Charlotte remained hot and still resembled light in human form. Charlotte, he asked, hoping she might respond. She didn't stir, so he waited. He checked in with his family. He dozed on the bathroom floor. Beau? Charlotte asked weakly from a tub some hours later. I'm here, Lottie. Her skin was still pale, but she looked much more like a human now. Beau reached out to touch her hand, but pulled away quickly. You are still so hot. Do you think that there's a way you could help me get to my bed? Let me try holding you with a blanket. He managed to help her to the bed. It's probably early morning about now. Is there any word of my parents? She asked drowsily. I haven't heard any, he confessed. Would you like me to go find out? No, whatever you do, please don't leave, she insisted. I'm not going anywhere. Beau sat down on the chair near the bed. He reached out to touch her, but pulled away. The closer he got to his skin, the hotter the air became. He made a fist and put his hands in his lap. Thank goodness she had her eyes closed. He didn't want her to see him pulling away. She opened her eyes and laughed. It just hit me. I'm alive. What happened? Beau smiled and sat back in the chair. I've never seen anything like it. It was like you were the brightest, clearest light I'd ever seen. The closest I've come to seeing something like that is the time I nearly ran into some fireworks. What do I look like now? She fiddled with the blanket on the bed. Knowing magic, I'm afraid to look. Beau blinked. How did she look? He looked for the nearest mirror. How are you feeling right now? Would you like to look in the mirror? She frowned. I'd rather not get up yet. I could carry you, he offered. No, never mind. It's not really important, is it? She closed her eyes and turned her head away. Beau crossed his arms in front of his chest. Why was she so worried about how she looked? What did she want, a picture? To know that her hair was free of tangles? He shook his head and sighed. Girls. Then it hit him. She wanted reassurance from him. He wiped the grin off his face before he sat forward in the chair and cleared his throat. Hey, beautiful, eyes over here. She turned back to him. I'm beautiful? You were beautiful before, and you are beautiful now, Beau said. Your eyes are brown like mine now. Your hair is red like Ebby's, and it has strands of white in it. You look stronger. Of course, you've always had a strong build like the fairies. It's a pretty combination of muscular and curvy. He felt a blush creep across his neck. You are sweet. He smiled. You reminded me of the phoenix story last night, but you are an incandescent phoenix. You are reborn now, Charlotte. You are a mystery. Nobody knows what you can do. Charlotte smiled back, but it was a sad smile. What's wrong? He asked. Should I get Sebastian? Do you hurt? I feel like I've been living a lie. The person I was before is gone. I'm not everybody's Charlotte anymore. I feel like the life I led was a mask. Beau reached for her hand without thinking. Ow! He jumped up from the bed and grabbed the burn cream Sebastian had left him. I'm so sorry, Charlotte cried out, and for a moment they stared fearfully into each other's eyes. What's wrong with me? Don't worry about it, he said quickly. You've been slowly cooling down. I'm sure you'll be back to normal in no time. Besides, my other burns are fine now. Sebastian's cream works wonders. Other burns? She asked. What other burns? When did you get them? She sat up and reached for him, but he pulled back in time. When the spell was released, you fell. I caught you in my arms. I was going to put you in bed, but you kept getting hotter, so I put you in the bathtub. I told my father who got Sebastian. He showed her his arms, which were healed, but he had scars on his arms now that looked like white flames. I'm so sorry. She lay back down on the bed, facing away from him. It's nothing you did and nothing to be sorry about. You couldn't control it. Like I said, you kept cooling down, or you keep cooling down. You should be back to normal soon. Normal? She yelled and tossed a pillow at his head. This isn't normal. Normal means you can touch people. Normal means that I don't send people to a doctor when they try to console me. Normal means my boyfriend can actually touch me. She stumbled to the full-length mirror in her room. All my life I have wanted magic. She fell to her knees. I finally get it, and look what I am. I'm a monster who burns people. You are exactly right. I am a phoenix, a burning, scarring people I love phoenix. Bo leaned against a door frame. Hey, look at the bright side. You could burn people you don't like. He swore the look she gave him gave off heat. That apparently was the wrong thing to say at a time like this, he said quietly. He looked away and saw his father standing outside the bedroom door. His father mouthed the word boyfriend, and Bo nodded and pointed to his own eyes. Wilder gave him a thumbs up and mouthed good luck before heading down the stairs. Bo squatted down next to Charlotte. Try to remember that you haven't seen Sebastian about any of this. In fact, there are a lot of people who may have an idea about what's going on and be able to suggest remedies. Don't forget you have undergone this huge transformation. Your body still needs time to adjust. We'll take it one day at a time. You mean I should take this one day at a time, she tried to correct him. I mean we will, he corrected. We do this together. If it were me in the same situation, you would say it too. She didn't respond. Bo wrapped a shirt around his elbow and nudged her. I'm beginning to think that if it were me, you would leave me high and dry. The tiniest of smiles brushed her lips. Of course I wouldn't. I would make oven mitts or something. Bo sat back on his heels. You know, it was only my arms that burned. The parts of me covered by fairy clothing didn't burn when I touched you. The fairy clothes protect us, I guess. I wonder if... Bo reached over and touched her shoulder. Yes, I can touch you where you're covered. It's a start. He helped her up and back to the bed. I don't know about you, but I'm a little tired. Me too, Charlotte agreed. You okay? He asked sleepily. I'm having trouble relaxing. She curled up on the far right side of the bed. Bo took deep breaths to steady his nerves as he turned off the lights in the room to save one lamp. He lay down on the left side of the bed and stretched his arm out toward her. She reached out and laid her arm close to his. I have a song for you, he smiled bashfully. I wrote it for you while I waited for you to wake. You wrote me a song? It's a tradition of Bronze Eagles. When you found your mate, you wrote a song for her. I have grown up hearing my father sing to my mother. It's one of my fondest childhood memories. Charlotte smiled. Her face softened and a tear dropped down her cheek. I'm your mate? You are my everything, dear Lottie. Bo propped himself up on his elbow. You are my best friend. You are my girlfriend. You are my partner. You are my intended. You are my mate. He rolled over on his stomach, and someday you will be my lover. Charlotte smiled and rolled over onto her stomach. Sing for me. Cara mia, oh my soul, I was part, now I am whole. All my love I give to you, all my life I will be true. Fly by my side, walk by my side, rest by my side, don't leave my side. Cara mia, oh my heart, from you I'll never part. Through the dark and through the light, you will remain my delight. Your lips so soft, your eyes that shine, your touch it sets my heart on fire. Cara mia, oh my flame, by your side I will remain. Let me care for you, my sweet, let me sleep by your heartbeat. Your mind is bright, your laughter sings, your smile is sweet, to you I cling. Cara mia, let be true, I can't hide my love for you. Bo, it's beautiful, she whispered. Will you sing it again? He did. I actually didn't sing it the way it goes in my head. That was really funny reading it like that because it does actually sound a certain way in my head, and then I'm reading it and I'm like, ooh. Anyway, so that was chapter 9, and Charlotte's finally transformed. And next time will be chapter 10. See you then. Bye.